Ever feel like you're just stuck on that hamster wheel, you know? Like barely squeezing in time for yourself.
Oh, yeah,
It
definitely.
seems like everyone's craving those moments of peace, you know?
Mm.
But like actually carving out hours for some elaborate ritual,
Right.
not exactly realistic most days. That's why when you sent us that article about 5-minute magic for busy witches, I was so intrigued.
Uh-huh.
Now, before anyone starts picturing like cauldrons and pointy hats,
Right, right.
it's not quite like that.
Not at all. It's actually fascinating how witchcraft is kind of shedding that stereotypical image
Yeah,
and becoming more about just incorporating little practices
right.
into daily life.
Exactly. So this deep dive is really for anyone listening who,
Yeah.
looking for those little pockets of magic, like
Right.
those intentional moments that can make a difference even if you only have like 5 minutes.
And I think what's really interesting is there's this common thread that runs through all these practices.
Okay.
It's really about harnessing your own energy, connecting with yourself,
Yeah,
and being mindful,
right.
which are all things we could all use a little more of these days, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. So let's jump right in. The article starts with grounding.
Okay.
Now, I've heard about grounding,
Yeah.
but honestly, it's always felt kind of vague to me. Like,
Yeah.
what's the real deal with grounding?
It's definitely more than just a wellness buzzword you see all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
It's kind of like, think about it this way. We're just constantly bombarded with information
Right.
and stimulation.
Oh, yeah.
Our minds are racing.
Yeah.
Our nervous systems are just like on overdrive all the time.
Right.
And grounding is about consciously reconnecting with the earth's energy
Okay.
and finding that sense of stability and calm.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
But how do you actually like ground yourself?
Right.
Do you need to like hug a tree or something?
Well, you could,
Okay.
but it can be as simple as doing the morning ritual that's
Yeah.
actually described in the article. So you stand barefoot on the earth.
Hmm.
It could be grass or sand or, whatever you have access to.
Okay.
Take a few deep breaths
Right.
and just visualize that energy
Yeah.
flowing up through your feet,
Mm-hmm.
rooting you like a tree.
I like that image.
And some people even believe that this connection, can have actual physiological benefits,
Interesting.
like helping to reduce inflammation
Wow.
and even improve your sleep.
Huh.
And there's actually some emerging research out there now that's exploring the electrical connection
Really?
between our bodies and the earth.
That's fascinating.
Pretty cool stuff.
It is cool. Like literally plugging yourself back into nature's power outlet or something.
Exactly.
I can totally see how that would help with like stress and just feeling more centered.
Think about it. We evolved in constant contact with the earth.
Right.
So it makes sense that we'd feel more balanced when we're able to reestablish that connection,
Uh-huh.
even if it's just for a few minutes every day.
Yeah.
It's kind of like hitting the reset button for your nervous system.
Okay, so grounding is our first magical tool.
Yes.
Next up is candle magic.
Okay.
I'll admit, this one sounds a little more,
A little more witchy.
yeah, a little more witchy to
It's
that.
actually a lot more approachable than you might think.
Okay.
You can forget about those elaborate spells and all that.
Mm-hmm.
This is about focusing your intention.
Okay.
And the color of the candle that you choose is actually key
Oh, interesting.
because each color is associated with a different energy or intention.
Okay.
So green for prosperity, pink for love, things like that.
I see.
You light the candle, you focus on your desire,
Uh-huh.
and you visualize it coming to fruition as the flame burns.
So it's like a visual representation of your goal
Right.
amplified by the energy of the flame.
That's the idea.
Okay.
Harnessing that focused energy and sending it out into the universe.
I like that.
Now, obviously, there's no scientific proof that lighting a candle is going to make you rich or,
Right.
find you love.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think there's a lot to be said for the psychological power of ritual and visualization. Think about athletes visualizing their perfect game
Oh, yeah.
or musicians mentally rehearsing for a performance.
Right.
It's all about aligning your energy with your desired outcome.
So even if it's not magic in like the literal sense,
Right.
it's still a really powerful tool for focusing your intentions and visualizing what you want to manifest.
Exactly.
I can get behind that. Okay, moving on from fire to something a little more earthy.
Yeah.
The article talks about crystal charging.
Okay.
This one always makes me curious.
Uh-huh.
Is it more than just like having pretty rocks around?
Yeah, it definitely goes deeper than that.
Okay.
So the idea is that crystals, because of their unique molecular structures,
Right.
they hold and amplify energy,
Okay.
and you can intentionally charge them with your desires.
So how does this charging actually work?
Okay, so you hold the crystal in your hand.
Uh-huh.
You focus on what you want to bring into your life.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's clarity, courage, creativity, whatever you need at that moment.
Yeah.
And you visualize the crystal absorbing that energy.
Okay.
Almost like it's glowing brighter.
So it's kind of like programming the crystal with your intention.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is that the crystal then acts as like a reminder
Okay.
and an amplifier of that intention throughout your day.
Interesting.
Now, different crystals are believed to have different properties.
Right.
So rose quartz is associated with love, amethyst with peace, citrine with abundance.
Oh, wow.
It's almost like having a little energetic ally
Uh-huh.
that's tailored to your specific need.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about choosing a crystal that resonates with like what you're working on and
Yeah.
consciously imbuing it with your intention.
Exactly.
I'm already picturing a crystal for every mood. Okay, from crystals, we move on to something a little more mystical.
Okay.
Tarot and oracle cards.
All right.
We're talking full-blown fortune telling here.
Not quite. So the article frames card reading as like a tool for intuition and guidance.
Oh, okay.
Not like predicting a fixed future or anything like that.
Right.
It's about asking a question, shuffling the cards, drawing one,
Okay.
and interpreting its symbolism in relation to your question or the situation.
So it's more about gaining insight in a different perspective
Yeah.
than seeing like a predetermined fate.
Exactly.
Ugh.
Like you're tapping into your subconscious mind.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes the imagery or the message on a card can trigger like a new awareness
Oh, interesting.
or help you see things a little differently.
Yeah.
Some people find it really helpful for decision-making or just understanding their own emotions better.
So it's not about like giving your power away to the cards,
Right.
but using them as a tool for self-reflection and accessing your own inner wisdom.
Exactly.
I like that. Now, from cards to something we hear about a lot in the self-help world,
Yeah.
affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a witchy twist to this one?
Well, the article emphasizes that it's not just about repeating words.
Right.
It's about embodying the belief
Uh-huh.
and feeling the emotion behind the affirmation.
Okay.
It's about aligning your energy with your desired state.
So it's not just like mindlessly chanting, I am successful in the mirror.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's about really feeling that success and visualizing it as your reality.
So it's about shifting your beliefs and energy to attract what you want.
Yeah.
Okay, this next one really caught my attention.
Okay.
And I think it'll resonate with a lot of people.
Okay, what is it?
Sacred tea or coffee ritual.
Interesting.
I mean, who doesn't love a good cuppa?
right.
But how does this become magic?
It's all about transforming that everyday act into a mindful ritual that's infused with your intention.
Ooh, I'm all ears. How do we do that?
Okay, well, think about it.
Okay.
Tea and coffee have been used in rituals and ceremonies
It's true.
for centuries.
Mm.
So this is about tapping into that ancient wisdom. You choose your beverage with intention.
Okay.
So chamomile for relaxation, peppermint for focus.
Uh-huh.
Even the type of coffee can have like a symbolic meaning.
Right.
As you brew and sip, you savor each moment.
Yeah.
You visualize your intention for the day. And you just feel it infusing your being.
So it's like a mini meditation. A way to be fully present and connect with the moment
Yeah.
while enjoying your favorite drink.
Exactly. And that mindfulness,
Yeah.
the connection to the present moment, that's where the magic is.
Right on.
It's about transforming the mundane into something sacred.
I like that.
Yeah.
Something that nourishes your soul.
Exactly.
I'm definitely trying that tomorrow morning.
I think you should.
Now, the last practice in the article is gratitude. We all know gratitude is good for us. But what's the witchy take on it?
It's about understanding that gratitude isn't just a fleeting feeling. It's a really powerful force for manifesting abundance. It's about actively acknowledging and appreciating what you have, no
Right.
matter how small,
Yeah.
and feeling genuine thankfulness.
So it's not just about counting your blessings.
Right.
It's about cultivating a mindset of abundance.
Exactly. By focusing on what we have rather than what we lack, we're shifting our energy to one of fullness, and we attract more good things into our lives.
So it's like the universe is saying, oh, you appreciate what you have, here's more.
Exactly.
That's pretty amazing.
It is. And the beauty is, There are so many different ways to cultivate gratitude.
Right.
Journaling, meditation, simply taking a moment to reflect on all the good things in your life.
Yeah.
It's about finding what works for you
Uh-huh.
and making it a consistent practice.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah, we have.
From grounding to gratitude.
Yeah.
And it seems like the common thread is about being an intentional, mindful, and harnessing your own energy.
I think that's a great summary.
Okay, so we've got this toolkit of 5-minute magic practices. But if we're thinking about actually applying this to our busy lives...
If we connect this to the bigger picture.
Yes, exactly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, what stands out to you as, like, particularly relevant?
That's a good question.
Which of these practices would you recommend our listener try out first?
Let's see. You know what's fascinating to me is how these practices... They offer such a diverse toolkit. Like each one taps into different aspects of our being. You have grounding for like physical and energetic stability.
Okay.
Candle magic for focused intention. Crystals for harnessing specific energies.
Right.
It's like a holistic approach to well-being.
It is. Like a buffet of magical options. You don't have to pick just one.
No, not at all.
And like stick with it. You know,
Right.
You can choose what resonates with you at any given moment. Exactly. So maybe you start your day with grounding and a quick card pull for some guidance. And then later you use a crystal for an energy boost during that afternoon slump.
Right.
It's about being attuned to your needs and intuitively using these practices as needed.
I like that.
So it's not about like adding more to your to-do list. It's about like weaving these little moments of intention into your existing routines. Like that teen coffee ritual we talked about.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still thinking about that one. I'm a total coffee fiend.
Yeah.
So the idea of transforming my morning cup into like a mindful ritual is really appealing.
It's a great way to elevate the everyday, isn't it?
It is.
Instead of just mindlessly downing your caffeine, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You take a moment to appreciate the aroma.
Right.
Savor the taste. Infuse each sip with your intention for the day.
I like that.
And you know what's really cool is you're tapping into a tradition that spans cultures and centuries. Like think about Japanese tea ceremonies.
Oh, right.
Or the Sufi practice of coffee drinking.
Yeah, that's true.
It's been around for a long time.
It makes you realize that even simple acts can have a much deeper meaning if we approach them with intention.
Exactly.
So instead of just a caffeine fix, it becomes a moment of self-care and connection. It's almost like a form of active meditation, right?
Absolutely. You're engaging all your senses, you're focusing on the present moment, and you're aligning your energy with your desired outcome.
I like that.
And research even shows that just a few minutes of mindfulness every day can have significant benefits for reducing stress and improving focus.
It's not just about like feeling good.
Right.
It's backed by science too. Speaking of feeling good, the gratitude practice really resonated with me. Something I try to do. But I'm definitely guilty of letting it slip sometimes.
I think we all are. Yeah, probably. What I think is really intriguing about gratitude is that it's not just about acknowledging what we're thankful for.
Okay.
It's about understanding that gratitude itself is a powerful force for manifestation.
So it's not just about counting our blessings. It's about shifting our entire mindset to one of abundance.
Exactly. By actively appreciating what we already have, we're sending a really powerful message to the universe, a message of abundance and receptivity.
Right.
And, you know, according to the law of attraction, what we focus on expands. So the more we focus on gratitude, the more we attract things to be grateful for.
Wow. So it creates like a powerful upward spiral.
Exactly.
That makes so much sense. So instead of constantly striving for what we lack, we can choose to appreciate the abundance that already surrounds us.
Yeah.
And by doing that, we open ourselves up to receiving even more.
It's a beautiful paradox, isn't it?
It is.
The more we appreciate what we have, the more we receive.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's not just about like material possessions.
Yeah.
It's about appreciating those little joys, the simple pleasures, the connections we have with others.
Yeah.
It's about cultivating a deep sense of contentment and gratitude for just the gift of life itself.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So we've explored this fascinating concept of 5-minute magic.
We have.
And how it can be woven into our busy lives. We've seen how these simple practices can help us cultivate grounding, focus, intention, and abundance.
Right.
All things we could all use a little more of these days.
Absolutely.
It's all about finding those little pockets of magic in our everyday routines. Those moments of intention and connection that make a real difference.
And what I find so inspiring about this is it's incredibly empowering.
It is. It means that magic isn't just something reserved for special occasions or people with special abilities. Right.
It's something that's accessible to all of us. Right here, right now.
And in a world that often feels so chaotic and overwhelming, I think it's a really profound reminder that we have the power to create our own moments of peace, joy, and connection, no matter how busy life gets.
It's about reclaiming our power and agency.
Exactly.
Even in the smallest of ways.
This raises an important question for our listener, wouldn't you say?
Exactly. As you go about your day, ask yourself, what small act of magic will you weave into your routine?
Yeah.
Which of these practices calls to you?
I like that.
Yeah, it really is about finding what works for you and your own lifestyle. Maybe it's something as simple as starting your day with a few minutes of grounding.
Right.
Or lighting a candle.
Yeah.
While you just set your intentions for the day.
I like that.
And what I love about all of this is you don't need any like special tools or equipment to get started.
You don't need like a fancy altar or a whole collection of crystals.
No, you don't need to go overboard.
Right.
All you really need is your intention. And a willingness to experiment.
I like that.
It's about tapping into that power that we all have within us.
Okay.
The power to create our own reality.
And I think that's a really empowering message.
It is.
Especially in a world that often feels like it's spinning out of control.
It's true.
Right.
It's a reminder that we have agency.
Yeah.
That we can make choices that align with our values and desires.
And sometimes those choices can be as simple as just taking a few moments to ground ourselves, connect with nature, or express gratitude.
It's about finding those little pockets of magic in the everyday and just reminding ourselves that we have the power to create our own joy and well-being.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into 5-minute magic, what's like one final thought you'd like to leave our listeners with?
You know, I think what I'd say is just remember, as you go about your day, you have the power to create your own magic.
I like that.
It doesn't have to be big or complicated.
Right.
It's about those small, intentional acts that nourish your soul and bring a little bit of sparkle to the everyday.
I love that. And I think that's a perfect note to end on. So until next time, everyone, keep exploring, keep experimenting, and keep the magic alive.
Exactly.